Did you know that Google Slides can be interactive? There's so much more than just a presentation tool. In this video, I'm going to show you some of my favorite ways to make Google Slides interactive, ways that your students can work with the Google Slides actually in edit mode, not presentation mode, in order to use them as learning activities. Students will drag and drop, they will type on your Google Slides in text boxes. They love these interactive activities. They can be collaborative, they can be individual. I'm going to show you a few examples of what I do and how I do them. In this video, I am going to show you how to make your Google Slides interactive. I'm going to take you through the steps that I use to make my own interactive Google Slides. For the sake of this video, I'm going to do just a very basic tic-tac-toe Google slide, and then I will have another video where I get more into interpretive, a little bit more advanced slides as well. So this is really step one. If you feel comfortable with this, go ahead and jump on over to the interpretive video if you're looking for tips on how to make interpretive, particularly reading activities on Google Slides, interactive ones. Okay, so the first thing that I do is I'm going to create a new slides presentation. I'm going to call this Presentarea, just a little bit of a conjugation practice. I always tell my students when they get a little excited about the tic-tac-toe, it's really just more fun than a worksheet. Just the practice of our conjugation. So let's go irregular preterite, because don't we all love the irregular preterite? I created this in Canva a while back. Page 4 is just the template. I've got my verbs up here as well. So I could download these all at one time. I prefer to do them one at a time, I think it's faster. When you download them all together, it creates a zip file, and then you have to go through and unzip and then go through the step of making these images your slides backgrounds. I just find it faster to do one at a time. So I will click download, PNG, that's what I want. I'm going to come here and I'm just selecting page 1. Download. So now it's going to download. With this little pop-up here. At the bottom of my screen, I have the little download bar. I can also access that from my downloads folder. I'm going to go to my Google slide, and I'm going to do that trick where I delete. I want a clean slate here. I'm going to click background, and I'm going to choose an image for my background. I'm dragging in my image that I just downloaded from Canva. And now you'll notice I can't move that text. That text is not editable, or you can't highlight it as well, which is why I love it for interpretive activities. There's no highlighting in Google Translating. They can't do it. So I've got my tic-tac-toe board here with my subjects and my verbs. And now I need to make this interactive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to text box, and I'm going to drag and create a little text box here. I don't want it to be transparent. I want it to have a color. So I'll make it white. And then I'm going to change my font. Maybe I want it to be, I love this font. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I love it. Maybe I want it to be like this. So I'm going to type it to it. Okay, they would see that. I like that. And I'm just going to change this to type here. I do love a border. I just think it would look cleaner with a border around this text box. So I'm going to add that in, border color, black. I'll just make that 2 pixels. Yeah, I just think that looks a lot nicer. You can also center that if you want to and make sure it's in the middle. I just think that looks kind of nice and clean. Now I could do this step for all 9 boxes, or I could copy paste, or I could use my favorite shortcut that I cannot believe I didn't know until way too long in my life, which is Control D. Control D is duplicate. So I duplicate, and I'm just going to pull this over here. You'll see those nice red lines that tell me that I'm aligned. Control D, pull it over here. Control D, let's pull it down here. That red line helps me know that I am in line. Same thing here. All right, I got them lined vertically and horizontally. Same. Again, Control D just saves us so much time on copying and pasting. All right, so now my students will be able to change this type here to their answer, which is awesome. Another thing I like to mention about interactive Google Slides is pull down those 3 dots on the speaker notes. It's going to make that a lot bigger and just going to look a little bit more visually appealing. Now I need to make my X's and my O's. I have a couple options here. I can do insert shape, and there is an X. I just need to find it. Oh, it's an equation. Equation, multiplication. I teach language. So you can just make that X there, and you can change the color on it. And again, you can add a border. You can take the border off. It's up to you. So you can make your X's like that. And there is also an O available. That's going to be in your shapes. An O. And again, you can make it whatever color you want. Make it the same color, make it a different color. Totally up to you. So you can do that. That's going to make it really easy. And again, I'm just going to duplicate, making a bunch of them. And then I'm just going to kind of painstakingly throw all these out of the way here. And I'm going to drag them right on top of each other. And again, I'll see those crosshairs when I know that they're directly on top. And just kind of spread them out for a second. And then pull them right on top. The students love this, that these elements are stacked and it looks like it's just one X or one O, but then when you drag it over, there's another one underneath. Again, it's something so small that's engaging to our digital natives. That's what they, oh, that one was a little off. Oh, that's going to drive me crazy. Which one's off? This one? Ah! What was that one? Okay. Beautiful. So now I have my first round of tic-tac-toe complete. I can go through that same process again, or I can save a whole lot of time and just duplicate my slide twice because I want to do 3 rounds of tic-tac-toe. So now I'm going to highlight slide number 2, and you'll notice obviously it's the same as slide number 1 because we duplicated. But what I'm going to do here, I'm going back to Canva. I'm going to download page 2 as a PNG. Going back to my Google slide. And I've got all these elements in place. Because those elements aren't moving, it's just a different background with different subjects and verbs. Everything else is going to stay the same. I'm just going to change the background. Now it's different verbs, different subjects, but all of my elements are still there. And then I can do it again with number 3. Go to Canva, download as a PNG, just page 3. Go back to my slide, background, image, boom. There's my trace and write activity. You can put directions on the side. I like to do that just so that there's no confusion about what the expectations are. So what I personally like to do to play Trace and Raya is oldest person, open, and share with your partner. And then take turns typing in your conjugation and dragging your X or O over the space. If you know your partner is wrong, challenge them. Use your notes to determine if they are correct. And again, I can change my font. I can change, let's make it like tennis ball colored so that they can't miss it. Let's add a border to make it look really clean. And I can have this in the margin so that they can see those instructions there. This way, the students will be working simultaneously on the document. They are each working in real time. And they're just typing their answer, dragging it over. I do like to add in an answer key at the bottom. You can choose to do that or not do that as well. So this is just a trace of my activity. The possibilities for interactive Google Slides are endless. I will show you that I have also done this with Battleship. I've done this with rompecabezas, like the vocab puzzles. Do you remember cutting those a million times over and over again? And I've also done this for digital manipulatives. So I will show you that here as well. Okay, so an example of a digital manipulative. This is an activity that I used to do when introducing Ser Estar a Ver and just kind of helping kids get those uses and see some examples under their belts. I used to spend so much time cutting out these slips of paper, and I just have these vivid memories of my first year teaching, being at school while it was dark, just cutting out all of these little pieces of paper and then putting them in their baggies, only inevitably to have all of them mixed up by third period. And then I would be like walking to my car and there would be like location of an event, manipulative stuck to my shoe. I love a manipulative. I think it's great for kinesthetic learners. A lot of our students really need that hands-on activity. You can digitize this and it's so much easier. No more cutting, no more storing. Again, too, if you miraculously have them organized by the end of the day, then you put them in your file cabinet. And if you're anything like me, I couldn't find them the next year when I needed this. So this is a really helpful way to change your manipulatives up. So for this one, I changed the size of my PowerPoint or my Google Slides to an 8.5 by 11. If you need a refresher, you do that with File, Page Setup, and then you want to make sure it's custom. It'll default to widescreen. You change the dimensions on custom. And then I made this background on Canva, and I made all of these little images on Canva as well. So this is a little bit more complicated because the things that my students are dragging around are not just like a shape that I made on PowerPoint. What I did was on Canva, I don't even know where these went. On Canva, I used just I did create a design. I think I made these about 200 by 300 pixels. So I just, 200 by 100, something like that. Did a custom size there and was able to make these little PNGs that I downloaded. But what I have my students do is they drag and drop the uses. So action in progress is going to be estar, origin, possession, ser, position, location, estar, time, ser, relationship, ser, there is, there are, saber. And then they drag the example sentences over to their use. So for example, position, location, ellos están en mi casa, they're going to drag that over. Relationship. Yo estoy mirando la tele, es mi action in progress. Ella es mi abuela's relationship. Hay muchos estudiantes en la clase. Is, there are. And they're just moving these things over to match. Again, it's the same activity I used to do on paper. It's just digitized. Do you want to digitize every activity? No. We want to give them breaks from those screens. We want to have them connect. But I will say, digital manipulatives have changed my life. Again, when the students are working on this, they need to be in edit mode, not present. They can pull down on those three dots to hide the speaker notes and use this little caret right here to give themselves, to hide the toolbar and to make this bigger and easier to read as well. Another favorite interactive Google Slides that I do is an interpersonal writing. So again, I created this on Canva. I just pulled down my speaker notes and I pulled up here. I call this mensajes perdidos, where I give them part of a text thread and they have to fill in the other side with what would be a logical answer. So they see that there was a missing message here, and then the response was, hola, estoy bien hoy, pero un poco cansada, no dormí mucho anoche y tú. So they would have to come up with what they think would be logical there, and they would type that in. So that's a really fun and interactive way to do an interpersonal writing as well. You can give them the one side that's already filled in and have them type the other side. You can also give them a theme or a situation and you could have this side blank. And you can have two students on a Google slide kind of texting back and forth to each other on this. So it's like a written conversation in real time, and then they can turn that in as well. So the possibilities are truly endless with Google Slides. There are so many things that you can do that go so far beyond what we traditionally think of Google Slides as. And really, 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 this interactive piece makes a huge difference for our students. Reminder that if you didn't see in the other video, when you share these slides, if you use Google Classroom, this is very easy to do. You know how to do this. It gives everybody a copy. If you use Canvas, there is that Google Clouds assignments as well that we can use. But if you do not use either of those as your LMS and you're looking for a way to give students a copy of these slide decks, if you just click on the URL, when you give the URL to students, right here at the end where it says edit, you're just going to delete that and type in copy, and then it will prompt them to make a copy of the document before they can type on it. It'll like auto force a copy in their own drive. So that is something that you can do as well. I hope you found this helpful. Truly, there are so many things you can do with Google Slides. Please share back if you come up with a great idea. I would love to hear it. Always looking for different things to do to engage our students. Thanks so much for watching.